that you've sent to us via text messages. Buhari's Thursday NAS address not likely to be prolific in terms of the yearning of the people. I expect more of abuse and warning of NSAS elements. Ibrahim from Agua Road. Alright, let's wait till Thursday. We'll keep you updated with the details of that meeting. Alright, Charlie and Orlando, good morning. Leaks in Benin is texting. Pension fund is savings for retired civil servants and other workers. Governors should not be allowed to borrow from the funds because they will not pay back. The Nigeria Railway Corporation had so much in its pension fund in the 70s. They had living quarters for their staff. Retired staff enjoyed their retirement. Things were going so well until government started to borrow from the fund. They did not repay, and that was how the Railway Corporation died. Do you know that some of them who are alive are still crying for payment today? So let the governors not go there at all. Thank you so much, Lex, for that message. Good morning, KUFM. I am Lagos Man Orosaye from Ego Axis. I salute you, Charles, and God's love. God bless you all in Jesus' name. Our PMB to another NSARS. If President Buhari decides to deal with any further NSAS protests, he should please, as a matter of urgency, to deal with bandits ruthlessly all over the country, plus the Boko Harams. The latter is more harmful than a peaceful protest. Thank you so much, KUFM. Welcome. And Oshomole rules self out of APC chairmanship. Hard lesson from Abuja and Edo States. Asibe from Benin City. All right, thank you so much, Asibe. Good morning, Charles and Orlando. Okay, this is not part of the message. Thank you so much. I guess that's the size of the package we have for you today on Written Voices. Today is Tuesday. Of course, it's going to be politics, and politics. And we are here to keep you updated with what happened over the weekend concerning the by-election. We'll be right back just after this short break. Please stay with us.
Join the conversation on KUFM's Dialogue as we introduce Written Voices. You can now keep the conversation going beyond 10 a.m. Send us your views on topical or burning issues of the moment, news, current affairs, or social-political issues that you may wish to share your thoughts on. It must be civil, factual, straight to the point, and in not more than 150 words, and we will give it a voice. Send your views to kufmdialogue@gmail.com or via our WhatsApp platform on 0807 552 7556. Keep the conversation going. Dialogue. Your voice counts.
Alright, welcome back. If you're joining us, you're right on time. It's time for us to dig deep into the politics of the country. Now, precisely on Saturday over the weekend, INEC conducted by-election in 11 states. They are Imo State, Bayelsa State, Cross Rivers, Lagos, Plateau. These states were for senatorial by-elections, while 9 states House of Assembly by-elections in 8 states after the deaths of former members from Bauchi, Enugu, Kogi, Borno, Cross River, Katsina, Zamfara, and then, of course, Lagos. Remember, this election was actually postponed due to the unrest that brought about the NSAS protest. So it was actually moved. It was supposed to happen in October, then it was moved to November, and then finally it was decided on the 5th of October. So it has happened. 5th of December, I beg your pardon, 5th of December, which was Saturday. So it has happened, and results have been tendered, and also there's been some back and forth. Obviously, you know, whenever there comes an election, there would always be disagreement. This party is agreeing and this party is disagreeing. This is what we'll be talking about on the program this morning.
Oh, well, so I think without further ado, let's get started. We're in the Niger Delta, so remember that one of the most controversial, shall I call it, emergencies of a governor has got to be that of the Bayelsa State governor. They call him Governor Doe Diri, and his deputy, Lawrence Erujakpo, right? Now, the original person that was declared the winner by INEC was David Lyon, but a day to his
swearing in inauguration.
The Supreme Court nullified his election on the basis of the his deputy or his running mates rather, his papers. There were discrepancies in his academic qualifications, and as such, both of them were nullified. Their election was nullified, and their votes were reported as having been null and void, and so Doediri became the governor. Now, the emergence of Doediri and Lawrence Erujakbo actually opened up
Kankan, you would say?
Opened up 2 seats for Bayelsa East and Bayelsa West senatorial district, right? Bayelsa West and Bayelsa Central, rather, senatorial district, because both of them were actually serving senators at the time they contested. So, in fact, the calculation from Governor Seriake Dickson was, if Doediri contests and wins, he goes to the the government house. I will now contest and go straight to the to the Senate. Well, it happened like that for him, and that election held to replace the vacuum Bayelsa had at the National Assembly, and Doediri stood for election alongside he was contesting against a baby. The names from Bayelsa sometimes they're a bit difficult to pronounce, so I'm going to try to pronounce his name. Peremubuwe Ebebi and Abel Ebifemuwe. These were the APC candidates contesting against Governor Dickson and Mr. Cleopas. And eventually, Seriake Dickson emerged as the winner in Bayelsa State to become the next senator representing Bayelsa West. We'll take a listen to what actually transpired right there.
Seriake Dickson of PDP, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Restructuring Nigeria is a task that must be done. We are going to argue for it. We are going to explain the content of it. We are going to contact and consult all those people of goodwill from across all parties and all regions so that we can salvage our country together. That means a profound constitutional re-engineering, a constitutional reform of our country. We are victims of what I've always called environmental terrorism as a people, at the hands of the oil majors and at the hands of federal institutions that are not structured to perform their duties of protecting our people. Our rivers and waterways and creeks are all polluted, and the polluters are allowed to go scot-free. They are allowed to do things here that they can never be allowed to do in their own home countries. From this point, there is no opponent. It's now once again my constituent. Our big umbrella is big enough to accommodate him. Well, PDP is his own party. Come back, my brothers, to work together for the success of our people.
So yeah, that was Seriake Dickson speaking right there, saying what he was going to do. Said he was restructuring the country, is what he's going to argue for when he gets to the National Assembly. Protecting the environment. Okay, he says Bayelsa is a victim of what he calls environmental terrorism, and of course, back and forth. But before then, Dickson had actually gone to court challenging the eligibility of a baby. He said the baby did not qualify to gain admission into the into the university in Rivers State right there, and as such he didn't know how the guy gained admission. That was his challenger, right? But eventually he has been declared the winner at the moment. So we don't know if the APC would go to court. We don't know if they're going to challenge the emergence of Seriake Dickson. We don't know. If they do go to court, well, it will not be anything new, because it's almost like every single time we contest for elections in Nigeria,
there must always be a court case.
Yes.
Call it tribunal.
Definitely. So, meanwhile, the other candidate who contested for the Bayelsa Central Senatorial District is Moses Cleopas, of the People's Democratic Party. He was declared the winner of Bayelsa Central Senatorial by-election. Now, the INEC returning officer, Emmanuel Akpan, of the Federal University, Otuoke, was the one who announced that Mr. Cleopas polled a total of 110,019 votes to beat his closest challenger, Abel Efemewe of the APC, who scored 18,947 votes. So you can see, apparently, Bayelsa, the two senatorial seats in Bayelsa look like they have gone back to the People's Democratic Party.
To the PDP.
So that is that from Bayelsa State as we speak. That's that from there.
All right, the next state we are checking out is Cross River State. Cross River State's by-election was for the Senate, and INEC conducted it, and of course they are. On Sunday, they declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. His name is Stephen O'Day, the winner of the Cross River North senatorial by-election. And the collation officer for the by-election, his name is Ame Akov of Alex Ekweme Federal University, Iko, in Ebonyi State. He announced the results that Mr. O'Day scored 129,207 votes to defeat 8 candidates.
I'm the returning officer for the 2020 Cross River North Senatorial District by-election held on the 5th day of December 2020. That the election was contested and that the candidates received the following votes. Number 1, Leo Ebi Kenneth, male of AA party, 58 votes. Joe Ode Agi, male of APC, total votes scored 19165. Stephen Adi Ode, male of PDP, total votes scored 129,207. 129,207. Stephen Adi Ode of PDP, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and returned elected.
All right, there you've heard it from the returning officer. And moving forward, mind you, Mr. Ode replaced Rose Oko. She's late, so most of these elections, most of these by-elections, like I mentioned earlier, were to replace those who died in different senatorial districts. And also in Cross River, the PDP's candidate, her name rather, is Maria Agwaji, also won the Obudu State constituency seat in the House of Assembly. She polled 32,166 votes to defeat her closest rival, which is APC. Her name is Abu Adaji, who scored 3,546 votes. So there you have it in Cross River.
So that's it. So that, I think that's that from the south right here.
Yes, let's move over to the southeast, which happens to be your state, Imo State.
But hold on, there are 2 states in the south is a hard by-election.
I think
Imo, what is Enugu?
I think Imo State is standing out because it is in that state where a party without a candidate was declared winner. And listening to some analysts who have argued about it, you can't vote for a party without a candidate. We understand that there are cases in courts, so we want to hear your own side of the analysis.
Well, what happened is this: Senator Ifeanyi Ararumi, okay, and Frank Ibezim are the 2 major candidates. Now you can see 2 candidates for one party,
yes,
for the All Progressives Congress. Now, both of them went to court claiming to have won the primaries. But we understand that the governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma, is behind Frank Ibezim. He's in support of Frank Ibezim emerging as the candidate of the... In fact, he said that, to the best of his knowledge, Frank Ibezim is the candidate of the party. But is Senator Ifeanyi Ararume, who is a former senator. In fact, he was a senator between 2003 and 2007. He was one of the senators that stood down, or like to use the word stampeded former President Obasanjo's third term bid. When he was senator, he was one of the people that, they made sure that the third term constitutional change attempt by the former president did not work. And the story is that the former president has not forgiven him up till date. If you come from Igbo State like I do, you would know that Senator Ararume is a perennial contester for governorship. He has run for governorship 2007, 2011, 2015. He even ran last year as well. Now he eventually decided, let me return to the Senate from Okigwe zone, where I come from, which is, to you, it's Imo North. But when elections come around the corner, that is when you start getting court order, this language you use, ex parte order, this one, Court of Appeal judgment. So many judgments, one
contradicting judgment from different courts.
And they are all served on INEC. And INEC is one body in Nigeria that always obeys court orders. Now, INEC received multiple court orders from different camps. One from the Ibezim camp, saying that they were the candidates. All right. The other one from Ararume at the appeal court nullifying the candidature of Frankie Ibezim. So, what INEC did was they proceeded
with the election
with a candidate, knowing that, of course, the Supreme Court has ruled before, in the case of, I think, Kwara State, that people vote for parties, not for candidates, and that's why the logo of the party is on the ballot box,
and so not the name of the candidate.
That's why, in the case of, for instance, Rotimi Amaechi, where Rotimi Amaechi eventually emerged as the governor of Rivers State without campaigning. Why? The person the PDP put forward, Celestine Omehia, was in court with Rotimi Amaechi when he was declared the winner of the Rivers State gubernatorial election. But Rotimi Amaechi eventually went to the Supreme Court, had the primaries overturned, and had himself declared as the authentic candidate of the People's Democratic Party. So simply what happened was the PDP said, we have already won the election, so all we do is we swap Celestine Omehia with Rotimi Amaechi, but they still remain in the People's Democratic Party. So there is precedent for this. This is not the first time it's happening. Even if this is the first time in recent memory, I can hear that a party contested an election without a candidate. Okay, but this is not the first time we know that a party would win and then one candidate will be swapped for the other person. The Supreme Court has actually ruled that people vote for parties, not for individuals.
So are you saying that if this case is dealt with properly, we can use Kwara State, just like you mentioned, as a standing order to declare APC the rightful winner of the Imo State senatorial by-election that happened? And then when court order finally puts out a judgment, because as it stands now, INEC, who is on the receiving end, is actually they are getting conflicting orders from different courts. So when it is sorted out and the candidate is chosen, it still stands that this party is the winner. It's there for you to now field in a candidate.
So there are two scenarios right here.
Okay.
We are going to listen to the governor, Governor Hope Uzodimma, and of course we'll listen to Mr. Emma Okewunono and Engineer Charles Ugu. Now, the People's Democratic Party are one side. They finished second, as declared by INEC, with 4,000 less votes, a little over 4,000 less votes. While the All Progressives Congress got 36,000 votes. They are the winners as declared by INEC. But the People's Democratic Party have a candidate, like this is our candidate, okay? There is no controversy over who the candidate is. It's Mr. Emmanuel Okewunono. But for the All Progressives Congress, there is controversy. Is it Frank Ibezim or is it Ifeanyi Ararume that is the candidate? So that is where the controversy is. Now, but the People's Democratic Party are arguing that INEC cannot declare nobody as the winner, just declare a party, a hollow party. A political party is supposed to be a vehicle on which somebody
is running.
Yeah. So, but the vehicle is not a self-driving car, so it cannot just go on its own. There has to be someone driving it. Someone there. That is the argument of the People's Democratic Party, saying, look, you must declare us winner, because as far as they are concerned, nobody contested the election for on the platform of the APC. So that now this is where it goes to litigation. The courts are the ones that are going to decide on this. We're not going to decide on it here in the studio.
Political analysts will not decide on it.
They will go to court, and then the court will not have to rule, because like the case where the Supreme Court ruled that people vote for parties and not for candidates, it has now become, when the Supreme Court rules and stuff like that, it becomes judicial precedent. Yeah, it's seen as a law. So we don't know if what the court is going to rule. Is it possible for a party to just contest as a party without a candidate, and then when the party contests, if the party wins, then they can then start looking for anybody to fill? We don't know what the court is going to do, but this is a novel case as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
we've not seen that route.
Yes.
But Governor Uzodimma has been reacting, and this was what he had to say.
The victory of yesterday, and then the commitment. I appreciate also the commitment of our people and resilience in the face of various attempts to distract and confuse our people. They remained committed and voted massively for the party. And we've once more shown that Imo State is an APC state, committed to the ideas of APC and committed to service and change. Unfortunately, some of our people are yet to come to terms with the new order and the new narrative. But by the grace of God, I'm sure that they will change. The candidate of the party, as nominated by the party, is Frank Ibezim. The candidate of the party, as confirmed by the Appeal Court of Nigeria, is Frank Ibezim. It is not to my knowledge that Supreme Court has done anything otherwise.
So you heard that was
Hope Uzodimma
speaking. They can see he's actually backing Frank Ibezim. Now, Hope Uzodimma and Senator Ifeanyi Ararime have a political history that goes way back. Remember, Hope Uzodimma was a senator, okay, before he eventually became governor. But this is the position of the People's Democratic Party. They have rejected it, and Mr. Emmanuel Okewulono, and who is the candidate of the PDP, as well as Charles Ugu, who is the state party chairman of the People's Democratic Party, had this to say.
That INEC should immediately declare the PDP with my humble self as its candidate as the rightful winner of the 5th December 2020 Imo North electoral by-election. INEC is declaring a candidate, unnamed candidate, as the victor in the elections. The named APC as having won the elections, scoring the highest number of votes, when in fact the candidate they were supposed to be fielded by APC is unknown. There were two court processes out that the Saturday 5th December 2020 senatorial by-election was never contested by the All Progressives Congress, APC. In other words, the APC, following a series of conflicting court judgments, went into that election without a substantive candidate. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, being fully aware of these undisputed facts, could not therefore legally announce any person masquerading as the APC's candidate as a winner.
So that was Okewulono and Charles Ugu. Charles Ugu is actually contested for governor in 2007 on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. You know, then at the time when he was running, Ifeanyi Ararime was in the People's Democratic Party, also contesting for governor. He actually was supposed to have emerged as the candidate of the PDP, but like I did give you a little bit of background, the president then, Olusegun Obasanjo, flew personally to Imo State to make sure that Ararime did not come out as a candidate, even after the Supreme Court ruled that Ararime was the validly nominated candidate of the PDP. The president then came to Imo State and said that as far as it's concerned, PDP does not have a candidate. So what happened was we saw the emergence of Ikedion Hakim as the governor of Imo State on the platform of the PPA, of which he eventually switched to the PDP. And after 4 years, Rochas Okorocha then emerged as governor. So this is just some background to tell you that the political history of Imo State is very, very turbulent, if you like. So we continue to monitor those events. We don't know what the court will rule, but we know that the last has not yet been heard. Remember that this election actually came as a result of Benjamin Uwajumogu dying.
Yes.
The death of Benjamin Uwajumogu, opened the door for
these seats,
for this election. Remember, the two elections that happened in Bayelsa State was because the governor and the deputy governor are both sitting senators. So the moment they transitioned from the Senate to the governor to governor and deputy governor, it opened up 2 seats. The one that happened in Cross River was as a result of the death of Rose Oko, and the one that's happening in Imo is also as a result of the death of Benjamin Iwajumogu.
All right.
But staying in the southeast.
Okay.
But staying in the southeast. Now it's Enugu State.
Okay.
There was an election in Enugu State as well, but now that was a state House of Assembly constituency election, and in that election, it happened on Sunday, the day before yesterday. Amaka Ugwueze, who's a candidate of the People's Democratic Party, was declared the winner of issues of state constituency by-election in Enugu State. Chukwuemeka Nwachukwu, who declared it, said Mrs. Ugwueze polled 11,041 votes to defeat the APC candidate Ejiofor Okwo, who polled 2,293 votes. Okay, Mr. Nwachukwu went on to explain that the rest of the other 7 political parties that contested in the by-election scored less than 70 votes each. So I don't think we'll stress ourselves mentioning the names of the other parties and the votes that they scored. So so far so good. It seems like the stronghold of the People's Democratic Party, Cross River, Bayelsa, Enugu State, they continue to retain those places. So Imo State is where
we are yet to decide what is happening
yet. Yeah. The APC has been declared winner, but the PDP are not backing down because there is a legal loophole right there. So that's that.
All right, in Lagos too, there were 2 elections. The one of Lagos East by-election, where the Independent National Electoral Commission declared the candidate of APC, his name is Tokunbo Abiru, as the winner of Lagos East senatorial by-election. He polled 89,204 votes, while Babatunde Badamosi of PDP secured 11,257 votes. And of course, let's hear from the governor and also Tinubu
after he went to
visiting Abiru.
And they have been hard, working hard to succeed. And today, we have been the senator-elect.
The APC's national leader says he is peaceful by election.
Our candidate has shown a highly disciplined, we know him, an experienced man. He had shown talent and character and respect for the party principles and norm. And we believe it's a great asset, not only to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but a good representation from Lagos, and a believer in the party principles and philosophy.
The candidates promised to uphold
Still in Lagos State, of course, APC is still taking the lead in the Lagos State House of Assembly, where Koshofe constituency, he won, and according to INEC, the collation officer, whose name is Iyinola Oni, the by-election in Koshofe declared that at the collation center in Agidi Comprehensive School, Agbonyi Ketu, at 5:35 a.m. saw APC candidate polling 12,494 votes to beat his closest rival, Sikiru Alebioshun of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, who got 2,068 votes. That is a wild margin. And of course, with that, APC candidate Mr. Sahid became the winner of the Koshofe constituency in the Lagos State House of Assembly election.
So we saw Badamosi actually try to contest, but apparently the strength of the Jagaban and the national leader of the All Progressives Congress continues to be, he's not loosening his grip on his kingdom, his political kingdom, which is like
Lagos.
So his party that he has midwife for many years now continues to hold it, and you can see by the margin of victory that they
12,000 and 2,000
over. The margin of victory they have over the People's Democratic Party, over there you can see that the People's Democratic Party, for now, they don't even stand a chance. Even the gap between Abiru and Badamosi, who by the way ran for governor last year on the platform of the ADP, now he decided to run, he crossed over to the PDP and decided to run for Senate, Lagos East, it did not work. So, well, it doesn't. I don't even see the PDP winning anytime soon
in Lagos State.
In Lagos State, because the strength of the All Progressives, in fact, that is probably the state in Nigeria where the All Progressives Congress is strongest.
Yeah, concerning that Saturday's election, a lot of political analysts and people that have written and analyzed this election, especially in Lagos State, all came from the angle of voter apathy. People didn't turn up, of course, following the #EndSARS protest. A lot of people felt like, we don't want to vote now. We are waiting for 2023. It's not yet time for us to unleash what we have for the country. So I think it's also coming from that angle, because 12,000 to 2,000, it's...
Knowing that Lagos is the most populated state.
Yes.
I now wonder that less than 15,000 came out to vote in a place that most probably has about 1 million people living there.
Yes, Lagos is the most populated state in Nigeria.
So the voter apathy could be, some analysts have actually interpreted it to mean, look, we don't care any longer.
Yes.
Whatever we do, you guys know what you're doing.
Yes.
And we don't bother anymore. So some people interpret it like that. Other people say, they've accepted us. That's that. So INEC has been spending more and more money yearly on elections, but the voter turnout has not been going up. Budget for elections have been going up every time. But voter turnout has been going in the opposite direction. So it seems like voter turnout is inversely proportional to the money being spent on conducting elections in the country. And I don't know why, I don't know how to explain that, but I hoped that after the Edo State and the Ondo State elections, which were hailed as being free and fair, maybe people would start to have more faith in INEC. So, but that's that from Lagos anyways.
All right, quickly, let's take the last state before we throw the phone lines open. Happens to be Bauchi State.
So Bauchi State had an election in Das State constituency. Before this election happened, it had been billed as a battle between the governor, Bala Mohammed, and Yakubu Dogara, who are like maybe two of the most popular people from this particular senatorial district. But what we understand is that the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Congress, Bala Lukshi, has been declared the winner of the Das constituency of Bauchi State, but it was a very tight election. Now, the All Progressives Congress scored 12,299 votes, while Lawal Wundi of the People's Democratic Party scored 11,062 votes. Okay, so you remember that last year, Yakubu Dogara defected from the APC to the PDP. He contested and won his election, the same Tafawa Balewa, Bururu, Das constituency, But this year, he defected back to the All Progressives Congress, and some people were speculating that, maybe he wants to run for vice president or something of that nature. But Bala Mohammed and Yakubu Dogara are now on the opposite sides. This was supposed to be a test of their popularity, but it seems like Yakubu Dogara is taking the lead, in this one. So that's that for Bauchi. But quickly, before we open the phone lines, I must tell you that the INEC also declared Saturday State constituency by election in Bakura local government area of Zamfara State inconclusive. Yes, they said the returning officer for Bakura State constituency, Professor Ibrahim Magawata, said the decision followed the cancellation of results of 14 polling units in Bakura ward with 11,429 votes affected. So what happened was the APC scored, Alhaji Bello Dankande Gamji scored 16,464 votes, while Alhaji Ibrahim Tudu of the PDP scored 18,645 votes. So you can see that the margin of cancelled votes is actually more than the margin of votes that were the difference between the victory of the PDP. When I say victory, I mean the lead margin between the PDP and the AP. So that election has been rescheduled for tomorrow, right there in Zamfara State. Okay, remember, I must point out to you that the governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawale, is of the PDP stock, even if he came in fortuitously through the court process. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. We've covered all the elections.
All right, we've tried as much as we can to cover the major election. There was an election in Plateau State also.
Yeah,
there was a by-election. Yes, the only woman who emerged. All right, quickly, it's time for us to let you into the conversation. Keep it as short as possible, okay? Or send us a text message. The numbers that you can call 0706-263-9275, 0903-939-4427, and 0812-178-9154. Our text line is 0807-400-9076, as short as possible. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Una do well. Charles and Ronaldo, this pastor is the pastor of the whole world.
All right, Pastor, welcome.
Thank you very much. If you people want to play, I will play. If you want serious, I will serious. The program want to allow this morning. God will bless you and Ronaldo.
Thank you so much.
Charles, una too much. God will bless you now.
Thank you. On to the next person.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
The beauty of democracy is credibility and obedience to the rule of law. We discovered that this present dispensation of political democracy is truncated by the two cabals political parties. They are just, that's why people are no more interested in going to stay on their phones. Look at what happened in Imo sometimes. The fourth person in the election result were declared the winner.
All right.
Thank you. Pastor, you've exceeded.
Bring credibility
Okay.
to our political system.
All right, thank you.
So that
All right, thank you so much. 30
please.
seconds each to everybody. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Sorry,
Okay,
you have a bad line.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Charles.
Morning to you.
This is Amos.
Go ahead.
Yes. The issue regarding Imo State by-election, I think the PDP have grounds to go to court because it doesn't make common sense that we don't have a driver that is driving the vehicle, as you will analyze on the studio. I don't understand the irony behind this issue of APC. They don't want to bow down for one. Look at Zamfara. Look at River Amechi and Magnosambi. This one in Imo State. What is the problem? They should be able to respect each other. If anybody wins, you support him. I want the PDP to go to court so that some of us can learn from what is going on in this country. Thank you and good morning, Mr.
Thank you so much for keeping it short and simple. Okay, and quickly, let's take one more call and call it a day on today's program.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning to you.
Yeah, this is Mr.
All right, quickly, go ahead.
I think I'll come with him because there is no way we tell the world that you are in an election without a candidate and you just parade to the political party. Is political party going to the president? Is constitution? It doesn't make any sense. I think I will thank the PDP for the matter to come and ensure that they get to the fullness of it and get what they deserve. That is just the truth. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you to all of you who listened. Thank you to all of you who called. And thank you to all of you who texted. You all really made our day on the program. All right, it's time for us to draw the curtains on today's edition. Do well to join us again tomorrow, Wednesday, for another wonderful edition of Dialogue. Coming up in a moment is News Update. I am Godslow Volando.
And of course, my name is Charles Oporum.
Good morning.